So Booklet 3 is probably the longest booklet because it is thinking about how we create research processes. It gives a brief overview of how a project like the research project develops, hopefully recapping on some of the links that the students would have seen when they did their Booklet 1 and they looked at a research project. And so this is just the SACE information. Then it's looking at how we move into primary research in particular. And this is all information that students will not actually be doing in practices, but will inform how they do their research project. So it's really important that they're looking at this stuff and looking at the different steps and how things can be informed. Then they have an example of a person's survey and they need to think about analysing that. Strengths and weaknesses. What do they see as good about this survey? What do they see as weak? The purpose of it, who's the audience, being able to identify that because that has to go into their actual folio. And so it's really important that throughout this, it's linked that these are the things that will inform the folio. And that's why when we're collecting the booklets and holding them safely, it's really important that either digitally or hard copy or both ideally, that there's I guess a record for the students to go back, and that's where the OneNote can also be useful. So they can go, okay, this is how I actually do this. These are journals of how students have written about their primary processes in the past. And so this is actually asking students to answer the questions about survey. In the past, we've done these activities as formative. We're now making them part of the grading so that there's less additional work at the end. This one's talking about how to be ethical and capable in the interview process. And again, there's some questions for review. And then there's an example of an email that would be sent. And so this is all about exposing students to the type of writing that they're going to do in their project, but then just asking them to do a few questions in response to what they're reading. Module 5 is now getting into the analysis of research, because to improve their proposals, we need them to really use this language. And so it gives some notes, and then there is some examples that can be gone through that they can respond to, and a few little activities to do as a class, and then going through some checkpoints and some reflections that they can answer for grading. That is really, I guess, about identifying if students have gotten what we're talking about. With this, it's not necessarily their question or anything like that, because they haven't started looking at research design yet, but this is an activity to ask them to think about why would they want to do a survey, what sorts of things would a survey help them with, whereas why would it be less appropriate. So the examples show that students are being asked to really link the information from Booklet 2 with Booklet 3. Sophisticated responses are going to be able to determine usefulness and limitations based around credibility, reliability, validity, etc. Then this is just some notes for them to look at. What do they have to do to design good research, and looking at just getting them sort of set up. This is all the things they're going to do for a research project. Then getting them thinking about what does module 7, what types of questioning have to do with all of this, how does it actually shape the research, and then them just doing some practice examples. So completion of the booklet is the grading criteria. Students who work through and show a strong understanding of purposes of research and how to select research will obviously be scoring higher. The development of the research skills is important. That is throughout the booklet, what is actually stronger or weaker. And then the ability to talk about appropriateness, uses, limitations,